Well, I'm super jazzed to be here today at Dave's Bike Shop in Raymore, Missouri with owner, president, small business owner, Dave Forster. Dave, thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you letting us come invade the shop. And first time I've been out here, but I've seen, all about it online. And, you and I go way back. You did some work for me on my house with your last business, and I've always had ton of respect for you and what you've done, and and going out and building a bike shop is not an easy task, man. So I'm interested to dig into it with you. So why don't you just give our viewers sort of background on Dave and how you got into biking and what led you to start this shop?
Yeah. I still remember my first bike. I have a winter birthday. My birthday's coming up here in a little bit, right before Christmas, and the day that I got my bike on my birthday, it was a used 20-inch little BMX mountain bike, cheap garage sale bike, right? I'm outside in like full-length coveralls because it's frozen outside. At least I had good padding if I fell. Nice. Learning on a gravel driveway. I still remember my dad helping me. I still remember all of those good memories. Yeah. And then I was the youngest, so growing up with older siblings, chasing them around, trying to jump on their bikes because I wanted the bigger one. I could go through 1,000 memories that fast. Yeah. All good memories of being on a bike when I was a kid. Yeah. Through high school, junior high, all that, buzzing around, living out in the country in the middle of nowhere on a farm. So my friends weren't close. So it wasn't like I could walk to their house easily. I'd just ride my bike. Yeah.
That's funny you say that. I remember that growing up too. Like it was no thing to ride your bike on a country road to town, you know?
Yeah. I mean, when I actually think about calculating how many miles we rode in a day and where we were going, it's like if we had,
if you had Strava back then,
if we had that, we would be like killing it with all kinds of local legends. And anyway, but as I got older, just kind of lost track of that a little bit. Okay. And once I found my way back to it through some friends and family members, just realized how happy and peaceful it made me. Just the quiet, being out on the road or on the trail, nothing to bother me, no questions to answer, just more my questions getting answered while I was getting some of that quiet time.
Yeah, and that's well put.
Just really fell back in love with it.
When did this happen? When did you get back into it?
About 12 or 13 years ago. Yeah. Okay. And at the time was running landscape business and doing lots of different outdoor activities. I was always physical, but it's just different being on a bike. So that was my stress reliever. Yeah. Like I said, nobody could bother me. Get out there and just be by myself. And a decade or so later, we find ourselves deciding maybe we'll look into opening a bike shop. Yeah. Knocked on some doors. They kept on opening. I kept knocking, and all of a sudden, here we were. And now I kind of find myself more of, instead of just me and quiet, it's, well, I should go for a ride, but who am I going to go with? Yeah. Now it's more about the community, the people, the relationships, and it's more fun to be out with them than it is just going by myself. So. Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you about that. I mean, I know a lot of bike shops have group rides and, stage rides and stuff. I see on Insta, you guys do that a lot. Yeah. I mean, you guys have one every couple nights, right? A couple nights a week? Yeah, it seems like, during the week and even this time of year, we joke all the time, we're an event business. We just happen to have bikes.
Happen to have bikes, yeah. So, that makes sense.
That's the avenue by which we love to reach the community. Yeah. During the warm part of the season, we have our enchilada ride on Thursday nights, which is everything from a casual ride to a training ride. Yeah. Not a lot of the training side of it, more of the casual fun. Yeah. And then we go eat enchiladas next door at El Dorado. Nice. And that's their enchilada special night, so it's 99 cents. It's great. Nice. Anywhere from 70 to 150 people each week at that. Okay, that's cool, man. And then
all roadies or all road bikes? Just everybody's
a little bit of everything. The casual crew is, anything you can think of, BMX, cruiser bikes, mountain bikes, and they just take the pathway down around the park and back. Yeah, okay. And then some hybrids and road bikes as you get into the faster groups. Yeah. But the C group and the casual group make up probably 70% of the total group.
That's awesome.
We got a mountain bike ride on Monday nights, and this time of year we're doing a lot of virtual meetup rides on Zwift. So. Yeah,
that's cool. I want to get into that. It's funny. I remember when we were talking before when we got on air, you mentioned how important, the community was to you, and, maybe trying to position more as a bike shop that's not, about racing and speed and all that, but more about, getting everybody on a bike. And if you want to ride, come here and you can learn. And, talk to me about that philosophy, because I think that's different,
Yeah. And the funny thing to all that is, like, I was a racer.
Yeah.
Like, I love the competition.
Yeah.
I love the adrenaline.
Yeah.
I raced motocross and hare scrambles when I was younger. I did some crit racing and road racing when I got back into cycling. My brother-in-law raced a lot, and he's kind of the one that got me started loving bikes again.
Yeah.
But what I didn't fall in love with was all the shops that I was in, that I had worked at or just visited, kind of just felt like if you didn't know the lingo and you didn't, and I hear that all the time, if you don't know, you just feel like you're being judged. And a lot of the rides I went to, I didn't know very many people, and I didn't get really welcomed. I just kind of got looked at and had to pick which clique didn't seem as painful.
No, I hear you.
So we just decided, let's just do the opposite of what you would expect from a bike shop. What's
interesting is, for every road racer, there's 10 other people that aren't in that space, right? They're just wanting to ride, they're wanting a cruiser, an e-bike, a BMX, whatever. So I think that's smart, and I think it's great for cycling. I mean, I remember, from my standpoint, I started riding, like you, when I was a kid, bikes were freedom, right? Like I
absolutely
remember riding through the neighborhood, and that equaled, being able to get out of the house and go. There's a first taste of like freedom that you really get as a kid.
Yeah.
But about 11 years ago is when I really started to get into riding, and I lived in Florida at the time, and I went, my buddy and neighbor at the time, Jeremy Chrysler, was like, hey, you should go on this group ride at the bike shop on the corner. And I went, and there's maybe 20 people on this ride, and I didn't know what the hell I was in for. And I got on in this pace line, and I lasted maybe 4 miles, and I got dropped, and I didn't know anybody, and just got my ass kicked. And I was like, I felt intimidated. I felt stupid. Like, I didn't know the route. So I was like stuck in the middle of Backroads, Florida. I had no idea where we were. I kind of had to make my way home. And, it sucked. And it kind of turned me off a little bit. And then when I moved here to Kansas City, when I moved back, I started doing the spin rides and met JP Shores. Yep. And like that, for me, meeting JP was like, he was the guy that, like, I looked at him and I was like, this guy's a racer and he's fast, but he's also embracing people that aren't, and I thought that was really cool. So
JP and I got together several years ago and really talked about a lot of that. And I think he had a pretty good impact. Like, we didn't really talk strategy and how to do that in a community, but I think just being around him and getting to know him had some influence on kind of how we're doing things, for sure. Yeah,
that's cool. He's a good dude. He's been doing a lot for KC cycling community for sure. Well, so talk to me about Bike It Out. I mean, that's on your jerseys. And
where was that?
Bike It Out. So hashtag Bike It Out. Tell me about your tie to that. I mean, mental health is a big topic of discussion, with social media right now and everything with the pandemic. Like, what's your tie to that?
So, just my history wise, had some family that I had seen struggle with anxiety and stress. Had, been prescribed antidepressants. They didn't really seem to work the way that they should anyway. And just struggling through that, trying to find their way through that journey. And had just kind of tried to figure out, with my similar personality traits, why did I not feel the same struggle? Still there, but not in the same way. And that's when I realized I'd studied kinesiology at K-State and some of my favorite class, biobehavioral basis of exercise.
Really?
It wasn't my favorite.
Really interesting.
It's an interesting, the psychology.
What was your major?
Kinesiology and exercise science.
Okay, all right.
So a little bit of nutrition, but so the psychology behind action and movement and how the chemically and physically it changes you. Just found that, okay, I'm always doing something not just work related, but actual, like I was either in the gym or I was running or I was riding. And I just found over time riding like you said, that freedom that you had as a kid. There's something about riding, even as an adult, that it's just different. It releases something different in your system. I don't know if they figured it out yet, but
to me, you said something earlier. The silent time for me is like that's the only time that I'm not in front of a computer, looking at my phone, sitting in front of a screen. Yeah, you know. And you go for a 2-hour ride, and it's like the headspace is unbelievable. Like I started riding because I was out of shape.
Okay.
But what then I realized was like the physical stuff is amazing, but the way I feel mentally. And
that's what drew you back to being motivated and disciplined enough to go continue to
doing
ride.
Yeah.
You can see the results physically, but really it's that, for lack of a better word, an addiction to the way it
absolutely is an addiction. Like it is, it's a good addiction though. Yeah. Like, I mean, you know, especially in the summer, like in the summer months in the spring, like I can't go, if I go a day without riding, I can tell. Yeah. You know, and my wife can tell. She's like, you need to go ride your bike. Absolutely.
My wife Tabitha jokes that all the time. You need to go for a ride. And like I said, now it's a little different, where before I'd be like, I'm just going to go out and go. Yeah. And now I kind of like, I have that split second thought of like, well, who am I going to ride with? Yeah. So it's a little bit different now, but
do you ride more by yourself, or do you ride in group rides?
Indoor now, I would say if I'm going to just go for just a me ride, a lot of times it's just super early morning when it's dark, so I just go down.
You don't ride in the dark in the morning?
With groups, I do. We have a 5 a.m. ride during the season that we do, and called the 5 a.m. ride because it's hard to speak in the morning. 5. What is it?
Nice. Is that stage here? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And great guy named Marcus that wanted to start that, and he leads the picking the routes and doing all that stuff. And
interesting.
Really great. He just started riding not even 2 years ago.
That's awesome.
And same story as a lot of us. Just it's physical, but also just the mental space that it got him to, and he loves the community and wanted to give back. So
that's awesome. So do you have a lot of people in the bike shop community that are new cyclists?
A lot of, and especially being down here in Raymore where there wasn't a lot of it wasn't easy access to a bike shop. There wasn't a lot of infrastructure. And so now just creating that community of people that are a
lot of people coming in here just like no idea where to start,
and we have a blast showing them all the options and finding out what's best for them.
That's the fun part, man.
Whether they're going to ride the Rock Island and just want to ride the flat quiet in the trees, or they want to go do a triathlon. Whatever. So
that's awesome, man.
Well, but it's definitely more about the peace of mind and the bike it out story, I guess. Really centered around like that's our culture. Every one of us that works here has in some way been impacted by that, so we can fully understand and feel where somebody's coming from and what they might need. And you know, if they outlawed bikes and we could help people with some other kind of widget, that's where we'd be going.
That's super interesting. I mean, it's not about the bike. The bike is sort of a conduit for that mission. That's awesome, man. That's really great. So what is your plan with Bike It Out? Like, is that going to be a thing, like a group rides, charity rides?
I mean, I have all kinds of visions and what actually can come together. We'll see. We do an event every spring called Cranking into Spring. And it's always been about the whole family. It's in the first couple of years, it's gotten kind of wrapped up into being a kids event because we do the kids rodeo. But this year we're really trying to focus the full offering of what's going to be there so that it is understood by the community. Like, we're going to go for a ride in the morning. There's going to be 3 different routes. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be music. And so creating more events like that you know, have some of the benefit of like the bigger rides, like Sunflowers to Roses and Summer Breeze and stuff that KC Cycling is doing and some of the other organizations. A little like some of that, but then also a little bit more of kind of a carnival feel, like a family event.
That's cool.
And maybe get a few of those a year going if we can.
That's awesome.
A lot of resources and people needed for that. So
I mean, you said, you know, this is an event business, you know, I mean, those are big event planning things, man. You need to hire a full-time event planner. So how's Raymore in terms of like bike planning and bike friendliness? I ride the north tip of Raymore a lot and some of the rides, but you know, haven't spent a ton of time out here.
It's actually not too bad. There's a few, once you ride any area, you kind of get to know the roads and at times they're not the best.
Yeah.
But as you head south from here, there's plenty of options to get out on something quiet and open and get in 50, 60, 100 miles pretty easily without too much concern.
You into the gravel thing yet?
A little bit, yeah. We're just right on the edge of some of the best gravel in the area. And know plenty of guys. I'm sure you know Ty that is doing some awesome things with growing that gravel community.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the first few years we tried to kind of get some momentum that direction. That just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Timing wasn't right, I think, but it's starting to get there. And
you guys are a Trek shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. And so Trek's got some amazing gravel bikes.
The checkpoint has gotten redesigned, and can't wait to get some of those in the shop.
Yeah.
And then even their Damani, their kind of road bike, has been just so much more made more versatile. So it can do anything.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's infrastructure wise, the city is pretty on board.
Yeah. How far are you from the Rock Island?
12 minutes. It's straight, basically straight east of here.
Okay.
In Pleasant Hill.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
So, and then I guess there's the north section. It's kind of equally
triangle there.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean that's a great development. I think that's just amazing. I rode to Sedalia last summer on the Rock Island.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
My wife's family lives in Sedalia, so I think it was 76 miles door to door.
Yeah.
And it was just an amazing ride. I mean, being out there, it was awesome. I had to start looking at land out there. My wife's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah. So.
What time of year was it?
It was a spring. So it was at Easter actually.
Okay.
So I rode down there.
Perfect.
We had Easter Sunday at my wife's mom's place, and so I rode down and then drove back in the car. So
say spring and early fall this time of year. If it's not too cool, it's perfect. I did the Windsor and back thing in like mid-July. That's not as fun.
It's hot. Yeah.
Your socks are soaked and your feet are dripping, and you're just, why am I doing this?
Yeah, it's pretty flat, really. It's
like, when can I stand up?
Yeah, right. Sedalia, interestingly, is the highest spot, I think.
Okay.
So from Windsor to Sedalia is like a slow drag up, but it's not bad at all. But I'd like to ride from Sedalia to Boonville because it's slowly down.
Yeah, and like around Boonville and Roachport, and around the river,
it's amazing down there.
Yeah.
Well, talk to me about tech, man. You were showing me the Zwift stuff here, man. You joked on the way over here that I was you were non-tech savvy, and you're showing me the stuff. So, how are you guys? Have you used tech and Zwift and all that to sort of grow your community? Because
I mean, as much as we can. And the fun thing is, I know just enough about it to be dangerous. Right? I know the things I do a lot. I know them really well.
Yeah.
Get outside of that, and I get a little squishy.
Yeah.
But the riders that we have, they're all very new.
Yeah.
And so introducing them to something that is so outside of their comfort zone, it's kind of fun because they're starting this whole new riding thing, and then we start showing them, well, you can do this in your basement too, and you can come ride with us when it's cold or rainy. And
that's the thing. I think people think that it's got to be nice out to get on a bike.
Not anymore. And the technology is so easy. I mean, you can take your bike, don't even have to take the wheel off or anything, clamp it into what looks like a traditional old trainer from the basement, and it will receive the information and send information to an app on your phone. Zwift. There's a few other ones out there, but that's the one we like. It's the easiest, most user-friendly. And then it will control the resistance on your tire for you. So you pick a route that has a bunch of climbing or no climbing, whatever you want to do. And as far as you want to go, and just start riding, and you don't have to worry about when to change resistance. You just, when you feel it, you shift like you normally would.
How's that been for growing the shop's community though? I mean, does it help the relationships with the customers?
Absolutely. This year has been much better than years past. It's really caught on. I think people are starting to recognize, and more people are using different apps for everything. So especially staying home and using Zoom meetings and all kinds of stuff. So it keeps that momentum. Whether it's your fitness momentum and you don't have to start all over in March again, or just a big part of it, and what we're really focused on this winter is the seasonal depression side of it. So our Saturday ride is called the We Win Victory Ride. And I said, tell seasonal depression to take a seat, we win.
Yeah, I like it.
We're going to keep that momentum. We're going to keep that consistency at least once a week. Man. And it's never too hard of a route. It's a pretty flat route.
That's awesome.
And 45 minutes to an hour, and we message back and forth. We do trivia questions
while the ride's going on.
It has a thing where you can message each other.
That's awesome.
And so we do trivia questions, and it just makes the time pass a little quicker and makes it more fun. So yeah,
that's great.
It's been a blast.
I love hearing. I mean, the fact that you like making mental health such a pillar, and encouraging people to take care of it. Like to me, it's started. We're finally getting to a place where you can talk about it. Like it's not, the stigma's sort of going away, and it's just sort of normal to have a conversation about it and ask people how they're feeling. And like, to take that level of relationship to a business customer relationship is, that's important, So I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad somebody in the biking community is talking about it, because I know there's a lot of cyclists that struggle with it. There's a lot of cyclists that got into this because of the escape.
And sometimes they may not even realize how to put words to what that is.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've seen a little bit of even guys that have been riding for 20, 30 years, like opening up and being more willing to talk, because I think they're even realizing to what extreme it has been about that for them, and they just the racing, the competition, the miles, whatever. And they're realizing this is what it's about for me, and now they're starting to open up and want to help more people, and that's been exciting to see as well.
That's awesome, man. Well, I could sit here and talk to you for hours about this, but I'm super I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're chasing this, man, because I can see that that you're in it and you love it, and I appreciate you taking the time, and looking forward to getting the shop story out there, and appreciate you having taking the time to sit on the podcast, man. Today, Bikes Included guest Dave Forster, Dave's Bike Shop, Raymore, Missouri, man. Check it out. Is it davesbikeshop.com?
.us.
Okay, and then Bike It Out.
I'll take you to like Ukiah, California. Those guys out there.
Okay,
not connected.
Good guys,
still good guys. They're a Trek dealer too.
All right, cool.
But .us, and then bikeitout.com should at least redirect you back to some of the events and stuff like that. So.
Right on, man. Cool. Check it out. Thanks for listening. Cheers.